Okay, not Victory Monday, November 17th. Yikes. Gabe, usually you and I get to talk a little bit before we do one of these shows and kind of share our thoughts on
Mm-hmm.
the game. We haven't yet, so I'm just very interested in your general thoughts on
Oh,
yesterday's loss in Denver, walk-off field goal for the Broncos.
um, I don't know. Your tease at the end of the 5 o'clock news was talking about the positives. So I
That's
think
to
that
come.
you're
You can
going to
start with the
provide
negatives.
positives. I was going to say, do I need to be the negative person today?
I
I'm
think we
more than
both will
willing
be,
to
but
be.
sure. You go ahead. I'll give you first dibs.
I just, I think that this theme of last night was play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Fair? Fair
And
enough.
it has started to become the theme of the season, where early on in this year when they were losing dumb games, I was saying that it was annoying, but ultimately I didn't think it was going to be super concerning because they would eventually figure it out. They looked like they were starting to figure it out in weeks 6, 7, and 8, but then losing to the Bills in a game where they didn't provide their best effort, and then coming off the bye and looking pretty uninspired, at least offensively, in terms of playing good situational football, another red zone interception, um, 3 and outs on consecutive possessions in the fourth quarter when you had a chance to go up 2 scores, and then when you had a chance to go and get the game-winning drive, and then routinely long drives being or long conversions being given up, whether it was the first drive of the game or whether it was the last drive of the game, third and 15, third and 16,
Yeah.
both were converted. Um, and that's not even mentioning that the special teams, which we don't know the exact specifics on how much Dave Tobe is paid, but it is well insinuated that the Kansas City Chiefs well compensate their coaching staff. And considering that Dave Tobe is the associate or assistant head coach to Andy Reid, and that he has a lot of say on the bottom of the roster with who makes the roster and who does not, to complement his third of the team, what they put out consistently on kick and punt returns and
I was wondering where that was going. There's a lot of
allowing
exposition.
kicks to be blocked
Yeah, yeah.
is simply inexcusable.
Yeah.
And I wonder if we are approaching 2018 Bob Sutton level of that unit is so poor that there is no response other than to make a move, because it every single week there is a problem with that unit. And you can, I mean, the extra point was certainly important last night when they were able to
Yeah.
make a game-tying field goal rather than need a touchdown. Um, so, yeah, there's a lot of
Hand shrug.
negatives.
Yeah. Where do you even start? The extra point is a big one because you just come off that momentum of the huge Kelsey touchdown, and then you look at the score and you're like, shoot, now we're only up 3, as you mentioned. Now they can kind of churn up the clock and go for the field goal. Offense had another chance, but Patrick Mahomes yesterday in his post-game press conference really pointed to the first down on that last drive where he saw Hollywood, but something in his head told him to go for Kelsey, and he wishes he could have that one back. That's kind of the play he kept harping back on, but yikes. Just a lot of, I think it's just a death by 1,000 cuts, but those cuts are so visible and feel like things that the Chiefs should have learned from over the course of the season. 0-5 in one-score games now, which is crazy considering prior to that 0-5 stretch, the beginning of this stretch snapped an NFL record stretch of winning close games. So yeah, now you're 5-5. You are 3.5 games back from the Broncos with 7 games to go. I think last week the conversations were centered around, okay, beat the Broncos. You still have a chance to win the 10th straight AFC West title. Today, they've kind of shifted to, oh shoot,
They
we
really
could
need
not
to do
make
a
the
lot to make
playoffs.
the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I know ESPN's giving, and there's all these stats out there, but ESPN giving the Chiefs, I think, a 54-55% chance to make it. Road ahead here. I mean, you got the number 1 team in the AFC, whether you think they're as good as their record is or not, but the Colts are playing good football. They're coming to town on Sunday. Then you have a primetime game on the road 4 days later in the Dallas Cowboys. on Thanksgiving, and then you get to see the Chargers again. You have the Broncos again. Gabe, how do you feel about the Chiefs' last 7 games and how they're positioning themselves? And just this conversation around, playoff odds.
It's such a juxtaposition because I completely believe that it is this team, if there's one thing that they've shown, it is that they're a different team at home versus on the road.
Yeah. What, 1-4 on the road now?
Yeah, 1-4 on the road, and then 5-1 or 4-1 at home.
Yeah.
And one of the losses is the Eagles game, which you can point to another red zone turnover for. But it's like there's no good reason for there to have to be a must-win game before Thanksgiving for the Kansas City Chiefs and for this team. And if you came into the season and you said, you know what, the left tackle is not going to be a problem for the Chiefs. It might be a problem based on whether the guy will be at work or not for a month. But the actual level of play at the position is not going to be a problem.
And Jalen Moore filled in
and
fine.
Jalen Moore was solid when he was playing. He had a bad game against the Bills, but other than that, he was really, really good. If you told me Travis Kelce is going to be top 3 at tight ends in the NFL in receiving yards, and if you told me Patrick Mahomes is going to be top 5 in the NFL in passing yards.
You're going to have Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, all healthy.
And the Chiefs are going to have a top 10 defense. The Chiefs, what's the record going to be through 10 games? I would have guessed 5 different records before 5-5, and that's the crazy thing. But they've done this to themselves, and it's a little bit of a level of good, like bad process resulting in good results has happened for so long, and I think that the bill is finally coming due a little bit on that. And I can say that, and also say, if you take away 1 or 2 or 3 of these red zone interceptions, or if you take away 1 or 2 of these special teams errors, this team is. I mean, if you look at yesterday, they're 6-4, and then they're a game and a half out of first place in the division and a very decent chance of holding tiebreakers over the Broncos. Instead, they're at 5-5, and I spent real time out of my day today looking at the Steelers and Jaguars schedule, trying to add up losses, because I think that they don't have the tiebreaker over the Jaguars. They don't have the tiebreaker over the Chargers. They don't have the tiebreaker over the Bills. Mm-hmm. Those are the 3 teams that are currently occupying. It's very nice that they have a win over the Ravens, but ultimately I don't even think that's going to matter, because I think that the Ravens are going to win the AFC North. And if you're a Chiefs fan, you need to hope that the Steelers lose this week to the Bears and lose to the Bills. Go root for the Bills in a couple weeks when they play the Steelers, because those are the types of things that are going to need to happen.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you can say all these things and then say, well, but if they go 6-1 in the last 7 and they get to 11-6, I think 11-6 you're automatically in, and because I don't think that 8 teams in the AFC are going to have a 10-7 record or better, and that's where the Colts game becomes like the gateway to the rest of the season, where if they lose, I could see it just unraveling. And them losing on Thanksgiving and such. But if they win on Sunday, if you look at another game against the Raiders, a game against the Titans, a game at home against the Texans, who can't score offensively very much, if you do the math on those, that gets you to 9 or 10 wins. And then it comes down to ultimately, are you able to beat the Colts, the Chargers, and the Broncos at home? Those are the 3 left to challenge yourself for. So, I mean, they've done it to themselves, but they're still, by all metrics, better than last year's team, which is the crazy part.
That's the thing, is if you gave me this team you kind of mentioned on it when you were talking about, well, if you told me the left tackle position would be better, I think ability-wise and skill-wise and ceiling-wise, this team is better than last year's. I think they're up there, specifically on offense. They're up there with the 2022 team, but it doesn't really matter when you're 5-5, right? Like last year we talked about, they were undefeated at home, so every locker room I covered after the game was like a celebratory locker room. But those came down to the toe game against the Ravens, the blocked field goal against the Broncos. We could go down the laundry list of all the different ways they won. And this year is just kind of flipping to the other side. So part of me likes to think that the law of averages will help the Chiefs
eventually
catch
it has
a
to.
break. Yeah, but yeah, it's funny when you say, because last week a lot of people, myself included, were using the term must win. Okay, well then you didn't. So now what? And I think you're right that
Last week was a must win for the division.
And
this
now,
week is a
now
must win
that's
for the
scrapped.
playoffs.
Throw that away. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I like the way you put that.
And that's because they lost to the Jaguars.
Isn't that crazy?
Ultimately, that's what it comes down to.
That's a sentence I did not think you were going to say if you would have asked me that a couple months ago.
That's the part that has to bother people the most, is that they've lost games to Trevor Lawrence and Bo Nix, who have not played well this season but have mustered good quarterback play against the Chiefs. And now you're like, oh, well, it's okay. It's a must-win game against Daniel Jones, but it's Daniel Jones in the best season of his career.
Yeah,
so
fair.
and the guy who's the runaway favorite to win Offensive Player of the Year in Jonathan Taylor. So
yeah, no pressure. Well, that game's noon Sunday on KCTV5, and yeah, just a big stretch. You got another game 4 days later, and then we got a bunch of home games over the month of December that are going to be really big too. So. Oh, it's so weird getting to the Thanksgiving mark and not, kind of being in the driver's seat, but you drop a couple and all of a sudden you're playing the game of hoping so-and-so loses. And this is just unfamiliar territory for Chiefs fans nonetheless.
Did you listen to Andy Reid's Zoom conference today?
Yeah.
I thought that the quote that he put out there of, we're not quite as negative as everybody else out there, is a little tone deaf, and also a little bit of like a maybe you should be, because that team yesterday didn't look like a team that played with a lot of sense of urgency.
Also, maybe interesting this is the first time I'm thinking about it this way, but we often hear that they don't listen or hear anything from the outside. So.
Well, that's just not true.
Podium speak, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I saw that one. I saw the quote
Magic
about we call runs and sometimes runs get turned into passes, which I thought was a subtle undertone of like it seemed like he was good with the RPOs that Mahomes was making yesterday, but I think that one of the few things that I agreed with Tony Romo talking about yesterday on the broadcast was the disdain that he had for the Chiefs running out of shotgun, because the metrics show that they're so much better running from under center. You can point to the 3rd and 1 in the first half. You can point to the 3rd and 2 in the fourth quarter where they could have ran the ball. The Broncos weren't respecting the run at all, but Brashard Smith was in the game, and Brashard Smith was open, and Brashard Smith ran the route poorly, the wheel route, where he just didn't settle and just kept running to the sideline, and Mahomes, after he threw it, was like, what are you doing, dude? And that's stuff that the old Chiefs of years in the past, you'd say, oh, coming out of the bye, they're going to be cleaned up and do all these kinds of things. And they didn't. And I don't know if we need to like retire the Andy Reid off the bye narrative.
Yeah.
But whether it's this one straight up off of the bye, whether it's week 1, tons of time to prepare, you go to Brazil and just don't look ready to play.
Yeah.
Or the Super Bowl where you had 2 weeks off and came in and just had a horrible game plan and just got blown up thinking that you were going to be able to protect against the Eagles. That's 3 straight times where they've had extra time to prepare and just looked poor.
Yeah.
And that's usually where coaching takes over, is extra prep.
Gabe, I promised, as you mentioned in my 5 o'clock tease, something positive. I don't think we've said anything positive yet, so...
Sorry, I was super negative today.
Me too, but pick something. Anything positive that you see.
Travis Kelce's still really good. Travis Kelce's still really good. There we go.
Sure,
I was thinking about it, and I was like, what can I say?
Fulfill.
He broke the record that he doesn't care about, that he said he didn't care about yesterday in the locker room. And I think that's totally understandable from him. But that's another thing to get negative again, is you're getting another awesome season out of the 36-year-old tight end. And you're just
you're
and it's
shanking it. Yeah.
probably possibly his last, and you're just maybe going to be the 7 seed. Now I'll say another positive thing that's
Okay,
not
'cause I have
positive.
one
It's
too.
just wish casting and hoping something into existence. But we came on here after the Bills loss, and I said the whole thing about comedians have bits, and sometimes the bit goes on too long and the joke has expired.
Hmm.
But a new bit that the Chiefs could run is sneaking in as a 7 seed and then going to Denver as the 2 seed and winning, going to
We just stole
Baltimore
you just stole mine.
as the
Yeah.
3 seed and winning, and then going to like
Could you imagine getting
Buffalo
a 2 seed and it's like,
as the-
congratulations, you get a low seed. It's the Chiefs though.
Yeah.
You're like, are you kidding me?
yeah.
Yeah.
So go 6-1, be the 7, and do the funniest thing in the world, which would be still getting to the Super Bowl as a 7 seed, or
Yeah.
still getting to the AFC Championship game. Just preserve that streak.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. Okay, real quick, some actual positive things to end on. Royals Team Awards today. No surprises, but one that I want to zero in on. Bobby Wood Jr., Player of the Year. Michael Garcia, the Special Achievement Award. And Noah Cameron. I almost said Noah Gray. That would have been incredible. Noah Cameron, the Pitcher of the Year. St. Joe's own Central High School alum and a rookie. So cool. We were listening to him on the Zoom today, and he was talking about how, a lot of times, he's got some acknowledgement for being the first rookie to do this, the first rookie to do that, rookie awards. This is a team award. So you talk about, veteran guys, and St. Joe's own getting that honor.
Mhm.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, really cool for him. I mean, the pitching staff for last season was just not what everybody thought it was going to be in terms of the injuries and consistency of
Yeah.
who was actually out there. But for him to step in at the end of April and almost never give up the spot just because other guys kept struggling with something else physically, and he just kept putting together quality starts. There were really not very many outings where he just looked overmatched. I mean, sure, it happened against like the Yankees and Dodgers, but other than that, he was awesome all season long. I'm excited to see what he does next season with the Royals and see what the rotation, if they can be a little bit healthier, can do. And the other awards are, I think we're going to get used to saying that with Bobby every single
Yeah.
November, him
Yeah.
winning that award.
My favorite moment from the Zoom today was he was asked if he had like a welcome to the big leagues moment, and Gabe, I'm sure you could already guess it. He mentioned the Aaron Judge home run
Mhm.
way back in, I forget, was it July?
Early June.
Early June,
Yep.
yeah. And he said, I literally never throw a 2-strike fastball. That's just not what I do. And for some reason, I decided to throw it to the greatest hitter of all time. He said teammates still haven't let him go for that. Who ended up hitting a 469-foot homer. I think it was top
That
5
that went
longest
way
in Royals
further than
history.
that.
Yeah,
That ball
so-
went way further than that too.
Yeah.
That's I
so
could
that
not
was a fun
disagree
little-
more with Statcast.